There are three things that come to mind when we mention Egyptian civilization: pyramids, pharaohs, and mummies. These are some of the most famous icons on Earth, yet they're also among the most mysterious. However, recent archaeological digs may finally bring us closer to understanding these ancient secrets. As a matter of fact, some of these new finds challenge what we thought we knew. Just as we unearth more, we realize how much still lies buried beneath the sands of Egypt's ancient land, far beyond our present understanding. Mystery of Screaming Mummy solved. It seems that one of Egypt's oldest mysteries might finally be solved: the case of the 3,500-year-old screaming mummy. Discovered in 1935, this mummified ancient Egyptian woman has perplexed researchers for generations. Her face is eerily contorted, mouth wide open as if caught in an eternal scream of agony. At last, scientists believe they have uncovered the truth behind this chilling expression. But what could have caused this ancient woman to be trapped in such a horrifying scream for all time? The high quality of the embalming materials, along with the presence of luxurious funerary items, such as 2 gold and silver rings and a long hair wig crafted from date palm fibers, strongly suggests that this was far from a case of careless mummification or neglect in closing the mouth. A recent study led by Professor Sahar Salim from Cairo University has shed new light about this mysterious mummy. Using CT scans, scientists performed a virtual dissection that offered a deeper look into her story. Their findings suggest that the woman, who was around 48 years old at the time of her death, may have suffered from a rare condition known as cadaveric spasm. This sudden stiffening of the muscles at the moment of death can freeze the body in its final expression. In her case, a haunting look of agony that has persisted for thousands of years. It appears that despite the best efforts of the embalmers, they weren't able to close her mouth. The examination also uncovered more details about her life. She had lived with mild arthritis in her spine and had lost several teeth. However, her exact cause of death remains a mystery. Another intriguing detail about this mummy is that there is no sign of the traditional embalming incision on her body. All of her organs are still intact, which goes against the usual method of mummification. Typically, the ancient Egyptians would remove all internal organs except the heart, storing them in separate containers. This was a vital part of their religious beliefs, as they thought the body needed to be preserved as lifelike as possible for the afterlife. Nonetheless, at least now we know why this mummy has been silently screaming at us through the ages. Mysterious Tunnel Network. The mysterious site of Zawyet El-Aryan, nestled between the Giza Plateau and Abu Sir, has long been a source of fascination and speculation. It didn't help that the Egyptian government has restricted access to this site, burying it and halting any archaeological investigations. Most of what we know about this intriguing place comes from the work of Egyptologist Alessandro Barsanti, who studied Zawyet El-Aryan before it was sealed off from the world. During excavation, Barsanti and his team discovered an immense pit constructed from limestone, extending deep into the earth. They unearthed interconnected pink granite blocks culminating in a colossal 30-ton pink granite block. This massive block seemed to mark the base of the pit, serving as the foundation for a type of pavement. But that wasn't all. They uncovered something truly unexpected in the pit: a large oval vat made from pink granite, polished to a mirror-like finish, and measuring 1 meter and 5 centimeters deep. This vat wasn't just any ordinary object. It had been carefully carved out of one of the blocks that formed the pavement at the bottom of the pit. Its sides were perfectly smooth and reflective, and its oval shape was unlike anything they'd seen before. What made the discovery even more intriguing was the way the vat had been protected. A layer of lime had been meticulously spread over the lid, followed by a thick layer of evenly distributed clay. This setup ensured that the vat was completely shielded from the limestone blocks stacked above it. These blocks had been methodically placed around the vat, creating a protective barrier. Barsanti couldn't help but wonder, why had so much care been taken to safeguard this vat? What was so special about it that it warranted such intricate protection? When Barsanti was in the process of removing the lid, he had high hopes that they'd see treasures and tombs. But he was disappointed. There were no valuable artifacts or meticulously preserved treasures to be found. He observed that the walls of the vat were adorned with a narrow black band. He speculated that this faint deposit might have been the residue of a liquid that had been enclosed within the vat as an offering or libation, gradually evaporating over the passing years. This peculiar feature added to the vat's mystery. Barsanti dismissed the notion that the tank served as an unused sarcophagus. At the northern end of the pit, Barsanti and his team unearthed a meticulously crafted staircase ascending steeply out of the pit. These stairs exhibited a level of refinement unsuitable for mere workmen, suggesting a ceremonial purpose or leading to inner chambers. The architectural sophistication evident at Zawyet El-Aryan has sparked theories that it might have been constructed by a technologically advanced civilization, potentially predating the conventional timeline of ancient Egyptian history. The precision and scale of the excavation are astounding, especially considering the hardness of the bedrock and the meticulous accuracy required to create such a structure. The conventional belief that the Egyptians used primarily copper and stone tools seems insufficient to explain the ambitious and precise work seen at Zawyet El-Aryan. The extraordinary precision of the excavation work, with the shaft's walls almost perfectly vertical and smooth, suggests the possible use of advanced surveying equipment and cutting tools. Adding to the mystery is the complete absence of hieroglyphics or inscriptions at the site, a rarity for Egyptian monumental structures, leaving the pyramid's purpose and the identity of its builders veiled in secrecy. Amidst the advanced technology evident at the site, one question remains unanswered. What was the site's true purpose? A key moment that happened on March 31, 1905, would finally shed light to this age-old mystery. On that day, a fierce storm hit the desert, pouring heavy rain into the pit at Zawyet El-Aryan, filling it with over 3 meters of water. Then, something unusual happened. Just a few hours after the storm ended, the water level in the pit suddenly dropped by 1 meter. Egyptologist Alessandro Barsanti believed this wasn't just a random event. He suggested that the water had drained into hidden underground chambers beneath the pit. Years later, researchers would propose a groundbreaking theory that stemmed from this observation. They suggested that the site was purposefully designed as an outflow area, where water pumped by the Great Pyramid was redirected. According to their theory, the site functioned as a reservoir, carefully engineered to collect water from deep underground sources. They proposed that the tightly sealed oval tub, covered with clay and lime, may have once been the point where water emerged. It's believed that the tub was sealed off when the pump ceased to function, preventing any potential leakage. As the years passed, the pit became filled with a chaotic mix of limestone blocks, almost as if a natural spring had been buried. It's possible that ancient civilizations built an extensive underground irrigation network powered by a mighty pump, stretching from this site to Zawyet El-Aryan and beyond. Some researchers concluded that the pit at Zawyet El-Aryan was connected to the Great Pyramid by a network of underground tunnels. However, they proposed that these tunnels might have served a purpose beyond irrigation. Instead, they suggested the tunnels could have been used to transport electrified water, potentially providing power to the ancient civilization. Possibly, the sudden termination of research at the site and its subsequent confinement within a heavily guarded military zone could be attributed to the forbidden ancient technology hidden beneath it. It's plausible that Zawyet El-Aryan hides evidence of an electrically advanced ancient Egypt. 1,500-year-old severed hands. A chilling discovery was made at the ancient capital city of Moeris in northern Egypt. 16 human hands, unusually large and carefully buried in 4 grim pits, were uncovered. Strangely, every one of them was a right hand. Not a single left hand was found. These hands, dating back to around 1500 BC, were found in pits just outside the palace walls. Each of the pits would have been visible from the palace's throne room, suggesting a grim display for those in power. If this was indeed part of a ritual, you might wonder why right hands were chosen instead of heads. Egyptian texts speak of a practice called the Gold of Honor, where warriors would offer the right hands of their slain enemies to the pharaoh in exchange for gold necklaces or pendants shaped like flies. What makes this discovery more intriguing is the startling absence of cut marks on the bones, implying that the hands were removed with meticulous, almost surgical precision. Experts believe the tendons were severed after death, once rigor mortis had set in. but the hands were buried before decomposition could cause them to disintegrate. According to ancient Egyptian beliefs, this mutilation would have doomed the fallen enemy to be barred from the afterlife, a fate far worse than death itself. Talk about a double defeat. Lost ancient waterways. For centuries, the mysterious placement of over 30 ancient pyramids in a seemingly desolate stretch of desert far from the modern Nile River has puzzled scientists. But recent studies might be getting close to finally uncovering the mystery behind their weird locations. The stretch of land near the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis is home to the iconic Great Pyramid of Giza, along with the pyramids of Khafre, Cheops, and Mykerinos. Although these monumental structures are close by, the Nile River, as it exists today, is actually quite far from them. How did ancient Egyptians manage to transport massive blocks to this site? For years, archaeologists speculated that the ancient Egyptians must have relied on a nearby waterway to transport the massive stones used in the construction of these pyramids. It seems like they were right all along. Using satellite imagery, researchers have recently uncovered evidence of a long-lost 64-kilometer branch of the Nile River, now vanished from the landscape. They propose naming this ancient river Ahramat, meaning pyramids in Arabic, as it likely played a crucial role in the construction of these colossal structures. This water route provided a vital channel for moving the enormous stone blocks and other materials needed to build the pyramids. The discovery not only explains the high concentration of pyramids in this region, but also answers a long-standing question about the logistics behind the creation of the Giza complex and the other pyramids scattered across the western desert plateau. Field surveys and sediment cores confirm the presence of this ancient waterway, revealing that, unlike the barren desert we see today, the valley was once a lush network of freshwater marshes and floodplains. Up to 6,000 years ago, the area teemed with life, and by the beginning of the Old Kingdom around 2686 BC, inhabitants had settled along the natural levees and islands created by the river. As time passed, the main channel of the Nile River gradually shifted sideways, while its smaller offshoots became clogged with silt. As a result, many ancient Egyptian sites now stand far from the river's present-day flow. World's largest museum. Egypt just added another marvel to its belt. This time it's the world's largest archaeological museum, redefining the museum scene. Just 2 kilometers north of the iconic pyramids of Giza, and a mere 20-minute drive from the bustling heart of Cairo, a vast complex stands as a gateway to the ancient world. The Grand Egyptian Museum stretches across an astounding 500,000 square meters, an area roughly equivalent to 80 football fields. This monumental museum will be the guardian of a civilization over 7,000 years old, housing more than 50,000 ancient Egyptian artifacts. Among these treasures, nearly 30,000 will be unveiled to the public for the very first time. The centerpiece of the museum is the treasures of the famous boy king, Tutankhamun, who ruled from 1332 to 1323 BC during the late 18th dynasty. Though his tomb was unearthed over a century ago in the Valley of the Kings near Luxor, it is only now that the complete collection of nearly 5,000 burial artifacts will be displayed together for the first time. But that's not all. This museum will also showcase cutting-edge technology, with one of the standout features being Tutankhamun's Tomb VR experience. This immersive journey transports you back to 1922, allowing you to virtually explore the pharaoh's tomb exactly as it was when first uncovered. The journey to bring this monumental project to life has been long and filled with challenges. The vision for the Grand Egyptian Museum was first announced in 1992, when former President Hosni Mubarak designated a site just 2 kilometers from the Giza pyramids for its construction. However, it wasn't until 2012 that work truly began. After more than 2 decades of relentless dedication and hard work, the museum is poised to open its doors by the end of 2024. This colossal project came with a hefty price tag, costing a staggering $1 billion. The Egyptian government is banking on making this investment pay off, with hopes of attracting an impressive 5 million visitors each year. They hope to transform this modern marvel into a thriving cultural and economic centerpiece for the nation. ancient hydraulic lift. Researchers have recently proposed a groundbreaking theory suggesting that hydraulic force may have played a pivotal role in building the colossal pyramids. According to this new theory, the internal architecture of the step pyramid of Djoser in Saqqara supports the idea of a hydraulic lift system. To explain how it works, researchers propose that a massive enclosure west of the pyramid could have functioned as a dam, trapping sediment and water. This water might have then flowed eastward into a floodplain, possibly a former lake, and from there into the dry moat surrounding the pyramid. The compartments within the moat may have acted as a water treatment facility, purifying and regulating the flow. Finally, this water could have been used to elevate stones. By directing water into a vertical shaft, a pulley system might have allowed a float to rise, lifting a platform. Once the rocks were placed on the platform, draining the shaft would lower the float and raise the platform. There is evidence that the ancient Egyptians used hydraulics for various tasks, from transporting materials to building ports, locks, and irrigation systems. Given their expertise, it's not far-fetched to imagine they may have employed similar technology to construct the massive pyramids. While this theory still requires further investigation, it does give us greater confidence that the pyramids were indeed the work of our ancestors, not the handiwork of an extraterrestrial civilization. Mummified baboons. The tombs at Tuna El Gabel stand as masterpieces of ancient craftsmanship, hailing from the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egypt. Hidden within this expansive necropolis is a chamber that provides a captivating window into the spiritual beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. Square windows, etched with intricate script, offer a glimpse into vaults that hold mummified remains, not of humans, but of baboons. These meticulously preserved baboons, once revered for their sacred connection to the gods, sit upright in their niches, as if silently watching over the secrets of the past. The sacred baboon was a constant presence in ancient Egyptian art and religion, appearing in everything from pre-dynastic statues to wall paintings, amulets, and sculptures, a tradition that endured for over 3,000 years. In many of these depictions, the baboons are adorned with a circular lunar disk, symbolizing their divine connection. You might wonder why the ancient Egyptians held baboons in such high regard, especially when we typically associate power in ancient times with symbols like snakes. Some scholars propose that the Egyptians believed baboons possessed a unique connection to the sun god Ra and the moon god Thoth. After observing the baboons' behaviors and vocalizations, the Egyptians may have seen these creatures as messengers between the mortal world and the divine, earning them a revered place in their spiritual practices. The next time you see a baboon, remember that to the ancient Egyptians, these creatures were more than just animals. They were revered as sacred beings with a deep connection to the gods. 5,000-year-old nativity scene. In the vast, sun-scorched expanse of Egypt's Sahara Desert, a find that has the potential to question the origin of one of Christianity's most enduring icons has been discovered: the nativity scene. It's a 5,000-year-old rock painting that could be the earliest nativity scene ever found. This ancient artwork, hidden away in a remote cave, portrays a newborn nestled between two parents, flanked by animals, with a star shining brightly in the east. The scene bears an uncanny resemblance to the biblical story of Jesus' birth, yet it predates it by some 3,000 years. This prehistoric painting was uncovered by a team of Italian researchers during their explorations between the Gilf al-Kabir Plateau and the Nile Valley. It's believed to date back to the Neolithic or Stone Age. The rock painting, created in reddish-brown ochre, is rich with intriguing symbols. Others would have just dismissed this as a normal depiction of a family. However, it's the other details on the painting that make it unique. For instance, it features a headless lion, a figure that resonates with the biblical title of Jesus as the Lion of Judah. A baby placed between two figures presumed to be its parents is slightly elevated toward the sky, a posture that may have symbolized birth or even pregnancy. This discovery stirs up fascinating questions about the origins of one of Christianity's most powerful symbols. It's remarkable because similar depictions don't appear until the early Christian era, yet here we have a scene that predates those by thousands of years. More importantly, its geographical and temporal distance from the origins of the Christian tradition makes this discovery more astounding. It seems like birth under a special star isn't just a Christian concept, but something that can be found in many cultures, reflecting shared human experiences and beliefs. For scholars of comparative religion, this Egyptian scene could be seen as an early precursor to later religious stories that connect important moments with celestial events.
Here's a fact that will surely blow your mind. If you search for the speed of light in Google, this is the value that you'll get. Now let us input this number into Google Earth. You'll be surprised at what you'll get. Of course, you'll say it as a mere coincidence. However, consider this fact. The Great Pyramid is remarkably aligned with the true north, even more so than the efforts of modern-day scientists. True north is the direction that points directly towards the geographic North Pole. This is a fixed point on the Earth's globe. What intensifies the astonishment is the fact that the ancient builders of the Great Pyramid lacked compasses. Do you still believe it to be a coincidence? Well, consider this. The sides of the Great Pyramid align perfectly with the equator, and the three pyramids of Giza are precisely positioned to match Orion's belt. When you examine all the evidence, it becomes clear that the creators of the most impeccably aligned structure on Earth were not a simple ancient civilization employing primitive techniques. Instead, they were highly intelligent workers guided by some hidden insights. The mystery of who built and for what purpose were the pyramids constructed continues to elude us. But located 5 miles southwest of the Giza Plateau, within the ancient necropolis of Zawyet El-Aryan, there exists a site that may hold the crucial missing element of understanding one of the world's greatest puzzles in history. The site that I'm referring to is the Layer Pyramid in Zawyet El-Aryan. The pyramid was first examined by Paring in 1839, who described it but did little else. It was also examined by Maspero and later still by Morgan, who found the descending entrance passageway in 1896. However, no real investigation took place until around 1900, when Alexandra Barsanti, an Italian artist, restorer, and archaeologist, became interested in the structure. Barsanti was not your ordinary archaeologist. He had devoted decades to the Egyptian Antiquities Service. His ticket to fame was the discovery of Akhenaten's tomb in 1891. At first, like all archaeologists before him, he came to believe that the site had never been a fully constructed pyramid, subsequently abandoned following the death of the king who initiated it. But his mind changed about the importance of the structure when he noticed something extraordinary when he made a return journey to the site. Instead of following the usual road back to Giza along the desert's edge, Barsanti opted for a less traveled path that traversed an elevated plateau, offering a breathtaking view of the surrounding terrain. From this vantage point, he noticed something that immediately drew his attention. Approximately 1.5 miles north of the Layer Pyramid, it seemed as though the ground was scattered with large granite fragments, along with remnants of granite powder typically left behind during stone construction. Egyptologists had been studying Zawyet El-Aryan since the 1830s, and never before had they documented anything beyond the unremarkable Layer Pyramid. Without delay, he hastened to Giza and assembled a team of 50 individuals, intending to conduct a preliminary exploration of the site the following day. Within just 2 days, Barsanti realized that his instincts had been correct. A vast rectangular structure lay concealed beneath the ground. As the excavation commenced, Barsanti and his team swiftly discovered that the presumed rectangular edifice was, in fact, an immense pit constructed from limestone, extending deep into the earth. As the excavation progressed, the team discovered interconnected pink granite blocks, culminating in a colossal 30-ton pink granite block in February 1905. This massive block seemed to mark the base of the pit, serving as the foundation for a type of pavement. Pink granite held greater value and was considerably more challenging to work with. Surely the ancient Egyptians did not employ it indiscriminately. This further strengthened Barsanti's belief that the site must possess exceptional significance. Barsanti had high expectations that they're on the brink of discovering an entrance to a subterranean realm, brimming with tombs and untold treasures. His team stumbled upon another revelation while the excavation continued, a discovery that would prove to be the most extraordinary at the entire site, an object of an entirely unprecedented nature. It took the form of a sizable oval vat crafted from pink granite, meticulously polished to a mirror-like sheen, with a depth measuring 1 meter and 5 centimeters. Remarkably, this vat was carved out of one of the blocks constituting the pavement that occupied the pit's bottom. The vat has immaculate reflective sides and a peculiar oval shape. He observed that in the past, someone had undertaken extensive measures to safeguard it. A layer of lime had been carefully spread over the vat's lid, followed by a thick layer of well-distributed clay. This arrangement effectively shielded the vat from coming into direct contact with the stacked limestone blocks positioned above it. Moreover, these limestone blocks were methodically placed alongside one another, encasing the precious form within a protective barrier. Barsanti couldn't help but ponder the reasons behind such precautions. What significance did the vat hold that warranted such intricate safeguarding? Barsanti held firm in his conviction that the vat held the key to unraveling the mysteries. With caution and anticipation, Barsanti and his team embarked on the process of removing the lid. However, their hopes were swiftly turned into disappointment as they lifted it off. There were no valuable artifacts or meticulously preserved treasures to be found. He observed that the walls of the vat were adorned with a narrow black band. He speculated that this faint deposit might have been the residue of a liquid that had been enclosed within the vat as an offering or libation, gradually evaporating over the passing years. This peculiar feature added to the vat's mystery. Barsanti dismissed the notion that the tank served as an unused sarcophagus. At the northern end of the pit, Barsanti and his team unearthed a meticulously crafted staircase ascending steeply out of the pit. These stairs exhibited a level of refinement unsuitable for mere workmen, suggesting a ceremonial purpose or leading to inner chambers. Then, as if the universe collided so the site's mystery would finally be exposed, an astonishing occurrence unfolded. On March 31st, 1905, a violent storm deluged the desert with torrential rain, causing the pit to fill with over 3 meters of water. Remarkably, within a few hours after the storm subsided, the water level in the pit abruptly dropped by 1 meter. Barsanti confidently posited that this sudden change indicated water seepage into concealed subterranean chambers beneath the pit. Despite the intensified effort that they've exerted in excavating the site, it proved to be exceedingly challenging. The immense size and weight of the blocks, coupled with their firm mortar seal and intricate interlocking pattern, posed formidable obstacles. By late 1906, Barsanti faced financial depletion, compelling him to halt the excavation and disband his team. For years to come, he tirelessly sought additional funding, ardently conveying to anyone who would lend an ear that he stood on the brink of a momentous discovery. In 1911, Barsanti finally secured the necessary financial support. Unfortunately, his team's efforts still didn't provide the result that he had expected. Once again, the financial resources dwindled before the mystery could be solved. Barsanti was compelled to search the world for a new benefactor. However, his plans were thwarted by the outbreak of World War I, which brought exploration in Egypt to a standstill. Tragically, in 1917, Barsanti unexpectedly passed away at the age of 59. With his demise, the site and its enigma faded into obscurity, neglected by Egyptologists who abandoned any pursuit of its secrets. Throughout history, numerous theories have emerged attempting to unveil the true purpose of the Great Pyramid. One particularly remarkable theory emerged in the 1960s, introduced by Edward Kunkel. In 1962, Kunkel published a groundbreaking book titled Pharaoh's Pump, which sent shockwaves through the field of Egyptology. In his book, he posited that the passages and chambers within and beneath the Great Pyramid served as conduits and reservoirs for an enormous water pump designed to irrigate the surrounding desert. Kunkel proposed the existence of 2 pumps within the pyramid, one located underground, represented by the enigmatic subterranean chamber, and another situated above ground in the middle and upper chambers. These pumps, working in tandem, would create 2 streams that would exit the pyramid through shafts on its north and south sides. Naturally, Kunkel's theory faced considerable skepticism. Despite this, Kunkel's work caught the attention of engineers who, unrestricted by the conventions of mainstream Egyptology, began to scrutinize his ideas more closely. They recognized that while Kunkel's 2-pump concept might not have been feasible, a ram pump could potentially make sense. A ram pump is a simple device, utilized for centuries, that employs two moving parts and the force of gravity to transport water from a reservoir to another location. Could it be plausible that the builders of the Great Pyramid had created a ram pump on such an immense scale? This is now how we connect the dot to the mystery of the Zawyet El-Aryan. It has been proposed that the site in question was not a partially constructed pyramid, but rather a designated outflow area where water pumped by the Great Pyramid was directed. It served as a reservoir designed to collect water pumped from underground sources. By observing the tightly sealed oval tub covered with clay and lime, some speculate that it could have served as the point of water emergence. It is plausible that the tub was sealed during a period when the pump was no longer in operation to prevent leakage. Over time, the pit became filled with a jumbled accumulation of limestone blocks, almost resembling the burial of a natural spring. It's possible that ancient civilizations constructed a vast underground irrigation network propelled by a powerful pump, extending all the way to Zawyet El-Aryan and throughout Egypt. In the early months of 1999, a marine engineer would go to great lengths in proving this theory. This man was John Cadman. He was intrigued by the Book of Kunkel, so he decided to construct a scale model of the pyramid using his years of experience in hydraulics. He specifically focused on the subterranean chamber to test its viability as a water pump. In July of 1999, he initiated the construction of his first model, utilizing a nearby river as the water source. After many attempts, he was able to successfully pump water on his model. This unequivocally proved to Cadman that the Great Pyramid could indeed operate as an immense water pump. He emphatically asserted that the creators of the subterranean chamber within the Great Pyramid possessed a profound understanding of their undertaking and executed it deliberately. As Cadman conducted further research, his working model revealed an unexpected discovery. Encased in concrete, the pump generated a vertical compression wave, akin to a recurring heartbeat-like thump that could be sensed 20 feet away through the ground and heard over 100 feet away. This discovery marked a paradigm shift. If the subterranean chamber of the Great Pyramid produced pulse waves, these waves would have propagated through the granite upper chambers and passages, resulting in ionization within the atmosphere due to granite's reflective properties. In essence, this process would have generated an electric field. In simpler terms, the pulses created by the subterranean pump would have interacted with the pyramid's granite, producing electricity. Consequently, Cadman not only demonstrated the Great Pyramid's ability to function as a water pump for irrigation purposes in ancient Egypt, but also suggested that it had the capacity to generate electricity. Some researchers came to the conclusion that the pit at Zawyet El-Aryan was linked to the Great Pyramid through underground tunnels. However, these tunnels may have served a different purpose than irrigation. Instead, they could have been utilized to transport electrified water to power an ancient civilization. Possibly the sudden termination of research at the site and its subsequent confinement within a heavily guarded military zone could be attributed to the forbidden ancient technology hidden beneath it. It's conceivable that Zawyet El-Aryan hides evidence of an electrically advanced ancient Egypt. These hidden secrets have the potential to completely revolutionize our comprehension of human history. This is the iconic obelisk that stands at the center of St. Peter's Square at the heart of the Vatican City. Few realize that this towering monument is, in fact, an Egyptian obelisk, a piece of ancient history transported to Rome by Caligula in 37 AD. Standing as a pagan monument in the heart of Christianity's most renowned square, this obelisk symbolizes humanity's universal quest towards embracing the teachings of Christ. This monument serves as a distinguished symbol amidst the wealth of Egyptian treasures nestled within the Vatican's esteemed boundaries. Yet, unknown to many, there lies a wealth of other Egyptian artifacts, discreetly housed within the most hallowed grounds of Christianity. Join us as we dive into the shocking Egyptian secrets concealed in plain sight at the Vatican, hidden from public view by the Church. Mummifying saints. When the topic of mummification arises, our thoughts instinctively turn to Egypt. Yet it remains a lesser-known fact that the Vatican has drawn inspiration from this ancient practice in the preservation of the bodies of saints. Although not widely publicized, this practice extends beyond the realm of mere conspiracy theories. It is in fact an actively pursued tradition within the Church. The remarkably well-preserved body of Pope John XXIII, who passed away in 1963, serves as a striking example of the Church's ambitious 4-decade effort to protect its sacred relics. Encased in a glass coffin, his remains are now a compelling attraction for visitors, located beneath the hallowed grounds of the Vatican. However, the Church's journey in the realm of preservation has not always yielded successful outcomes. A striking example of this is the preservation attempt on the body of Pope Pius XII in 1958. Unfortunately, this preservation endeavor produced disastrous consequences, including severe physical deterioration, such as the loss of his nose. Furthermore, it resulted in an overpowering and noxious odor, so potent that it allegedly caused a guard to lose consciousness. The Vatican achieved a significant advancement in preservation methods in 1975, inspired by the enduring state of 4,000-year-old Egyptian mummies. Monsignor Gianfranco Noli, then director of the Vatican's Egyptian Museum, was captivated by the exceptional condition of these ancient remains. This observation sparked a groundbreaking idea: adapting and enhancing the Church's techniques to attain a comparable level of meticulous preservation for the bodies of popes and saints. He then assembled a remarkable team of experts to carry out the task. This eclectic assembly ranged from microbotanists and radiologists to anthropologists and embalming specialists, all driven by a singular purpose: to pioneer innovative methods for preserving ancient relics dating as far back as the 3rd century. The Vatican's team of skilled embalmers embarked on an ambitious mission: the mummification and restoration of saints whose bodies were succumbing to decomposition. Astonishingly, this endeavor extended beyond the deceased, encompassing newly deceased Catholic leaders whose path to sainthood had yet to commence. This practice aligns with a Catholic belief that suggests a body remaining intact post-death is a sign of undeniable holiness, regardless of whether the incorruptibility is natural or aided by preservation techniques. During their investigation, the team made a remarkable discovery. Certain relics, previously thought to be naturally preserved, were actually found to have undergone the process of mummification. This happened either deliberately or fascinatingly as a result of a series of potentially unintentional choices made by those in charge of their interment. Spanning the years from 1975 to 2008, this dedicated team mummified and revitalized the bodies and body parts of 31 saints and devout Catholics on the sacred journey towards official sainthood. Their efforts guarantee that these revered figures remain in pristine condition, their enduring beauty and sanctity preserved for future generations to witness and venerate. Alexander the Great remains. The search for the final resting place of Alexander the Great, a figure often regarded as near mythical in stature, continues to be one of archaeology's most captivating mysteries. While it might seem like a far-fetched notion, there is a theory proposing that the Vatican might be the unexpected custodian of his concealed remains. Following the demise of Alexander the Great, his remains embarked on a journey from Babylon to Macedon, the customary burial site of his royal lineage. However, this voyage was not without its challenges, as it faced an unforeseen and significant event along the way. In a dramatic twist, one of the deceased's most loyal friends and generals intercepted the funeral procession, rerouting the legendary conqueror's remains to Egypt. This bold move occurred under the governance of Ptolemy, who rose to power following Alexander's death. For several decades, Alexander's final resting place was known, and it was nestled in Memphis, Egypt, before being relocated to Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander himself during his lifetime. This move attracted numerous illustrious figures from the ancient world, including luminaries such as Julius and Augustus Caesar, Cleopatra, Caligula, alongside other Roman emperors and renowned religious leaders. Alexander the Great had attained hero status in the eyes of many, rendering his tomb a prominent and widely known site in antiquity. However, in a fascinating turn of events, the Egyptians themselves eventually lost track of the exact location of Alexander's tomb. This mysterious loss transformed his final resting place into one of the ancient world's most intriguing and enduring puzzles. A distinguished British historian and an authority on Alexander the Great, Andrew Chugg, presented a controversial theory. He claimed that the body of the legendary conqueror may not have met a fate of destruction or abandonment, but could have been surreptitiously relabeled as that of Saint Mark. The core of this theory is firmly anchored in a meticulously examined historical timeline. Shortly after the last verifiable mention of Alexander's tomb's intact state in 390 AD, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I proclaimed Christianity as the official religion of the empire and prohibited all non-Christian forms of worship in 391 AD. Coincidentally, this same period marks the initial reliable references to the existence of a tomb dedicated to Saint Mark in Alexandria. The theory suggests that the Christian authorities in Alexandria, faced with the dilemma of Alexander's godlike status, which had become illegal under the new Christian regime, opted for an audacious strategy. They purportedly rebranded the mummified remains of Alexander as those of Saint Mark. In essence, they exchanged the founder of Alexandria for one of the founders of Christianity. This move, if indeed true, would not only demonstrate clever ingenuity, but also provide a pragmatic means of preserving the body and its tomb without running afoul of the empire's newfound religious decrees. The covert nature of this transformation only adds to the intrigue surrounding this fascinating historical puzzle. This captivating narrative also illuminates the persistent puzzle of why Alexander's tomb remains undiscovered in Egypt, despite exhaustive archaeological pursuits. Indeed, the tantalizing prospect that Alexander the Great's remains might lie secretly buried beneath the sacred grounds of the Vatican remains a topic of captivating interest among scholars. Library of Alexandria's Lost Knowledge. The Great Library of Alexandria, established under Ptolemy II in the 3rd century BC, stands as a monumental achievement in ancient history, representing the largest and most significant repository of human knowledge of its time. Although the precise quantity of materials stored remains uncertain, it is estimated that the library held between 40,000 to 400,000 papyrus scrolls at its zenith, showcasing an unparalleled collection of the era's wisdom and learning. Despite its immense importance, or perhaps as a consequence of it, the library suffered multiple incidents of burning throughout its history. Among those responsible for these regrettable acts, Christians played a huge role, contributing to the loss of this invaluable repository of knowledge. In the early centuries of the Christian Church and throughout subsequent ages, the possession of any non-Christian literature was regarded as a sinful act. In the 4th century AD, Christians expressed intense disapproval of the existence of a vast repository of pagan writings in the ancient city of Alexandria, Egypt. This repository was none other than the famed Library of Alexandria. This magnificent library encountered one of its most devastating fires during the tenure of Theophilus, the Patriarch of Alexandria from 385 to 412 AD. Theophilus converted the Temple of Serapis, which reportedly housed nearly 10% of the library's collection, into a Christian church. It is widely believed that the Christian occupants were responsible for the destruction of these texts. In subsequent years, tensions between Christians and the library escalated further, culminating in the tragic fate of Hypatia, the last renowned pagan philosopher and librarian of the era, who suffered torture and death at their hands. It is widely accepted that practically nothing of the library remains today. Nevertheless, there is a prevailing belief that key figures such as emperors, popes, patriarchs, and conquerors, beginning with Julius Caesar, salvaged the most valuable books. They reportedly did so either by appropriating or replicating these works. Among the speculated locations for these preserved texts, the Vatican's secret archive is often mentioned as a probable repository for these hidden treasures. The Vatican's secret archive stands as a bastion of security, renowned as one of the most impregnable locations on the planet. Although officially accessible to the public, it enforces stringent restrictions on what materials can be accessed and studied by visitors. This aura of exclusivity fuels intrigue and speculation, particularly regarding the possibility that it may harbor remnants of the ancient wisdom from the Library of Alexandria. The truth behind this notion remains veiled in secrecy. Forbidden Teachings of Jesus. The most ancient known manuscript, claiming to contain Jesus' teachings to his brother James, did not surface within the Vatican's confines. Surprisingly, this invaluable relic of Christian history emerged from an Egyptian refuse dump, mingling amid heaps of 5th century papyrus fragments, ancient tax records, and invoices for the purchase of wagons and donkeys. This document is a fragment from The First Apocalypse of James, a narrative not included in the Bible. It belongs to a category of texts often referred to as the lost or forbidden books of the Bible, deemed apocryphal and not part of the biblical canon. The label of forbidden was affixed to it because any writings that introduced modifications or additions to the established New Testament were strictly prohibited. Contrary to being a composition from over 3,000 years ago, this text likely dates back just about 1,500 years. Both the Vatican and the wider Roman Catholic Church do not recognize it as a scriptural text. However, its significance in religious history is immense. The manuscript was written in Greek, the lingua franca of the Roman era, akin to English today. This manuscript served as an instructional tool for imparting the Greek language to students. This conclusion is drawn from the utilization of mid-dots to demarcate sections of the text, a feature indicating its use by educators. This discovery holds particular intrigue due to the fact that, during that era, the Catholic Church had placed a prohibition on this specific text. Possessing it could have resulted in severe consequences. Nevertheless, an audacious teacher displayed unwavering determination by not only acquiring it, but also imparting its teachings to his students. Egypt's Great Treasures. Tucked away in a corner of the Vatican museums is the Gregorian Egyptian Museum. This revered sanctuary is home to an extraordinary collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts and sacred texts, predating even the era of the Roman Empire's emperors. It boasts an array of exceptionally rare and historically pivotal artifacts. This includes an impressive assortment of statues depicting various gods and goddesses, well-preserved mummies, and artifacts adorned with intricate hieroglyphic inscriptions. Notably, among these treasures, there stands a prominent exhibit, a marble statue of Anubis, the Egyptian deity associated with mummification and lord of the necropolis. This god got a special Roman rebrand as this fine Parian marble statue was attired in a Roman toga. This particular masterpiece hails from the 1st century AD, a pivotal era when the Romans began assimilating various Egyptian gods into their pantheon. This statue serves as an illustrative testament to the fusion of Anubis with the Roman god Mercury. This exquisite statue of Anubis presents a mesmerizing fusion of Egyptian and Greco-Roman symbolism. Perched between his ears is a delicate solar disk cradled by a crescent moon, a testament to his celestial power. In his right hand, Anubis clasps a sistrum, an ancient Egyptian musical instrument revered for its connection to Hathor, the goddess of music and dance. Meanwhile, his left hand gracefully wields the caduceus of Hermes, an iconic symbol from Greek-Roman mythology, renowned for guiding souls to the afterlife. This representation of Anubis is not just a statue, it's a cross-cultural bridge linking deities and beliefs across ancient civilizations. Adding to the intrigue of this statue is its unique origin story. While it draws inspiration from Egyptian aesthetics, it was actually crafted in Rome. In 1749, this fusion of cultural artistry was presented as a prestigious gift to Pope Benedict XIV, blending the ancient Egyptian style with Roman craftsmanship. Boasting one of the largest and most magnificent museums in the world, the Vatican is home to an awe-inspiring collection of priceless treasures and relics that capture the essence of human history. With an estimated 70,000 artifacts residing in its hallowed halls, only a fraction, about 20,000, are visible to the public eye. The rest lie shrouded in mystery, safeguarded in a private vault known only to the Vatican Museum's inner circle. This fascinating truth ignites curiosity. It raises the possibility that other hidden Egyptian marvels and artifacts might be tucked away within the grand and hallowed boundaries of Vatican City, and if revealed, they could prompt a re-evaluation of our historical understanding. In his renowned book, The Histories, Herodotus penned his account of visiting the awe-inspiring Nile River and venturing towards Lake Moeris in Egypt. The Greek historian vividly described the presence of two colossal pyramids, towering approximately 600 feet in height. These immense structures rose 300 feet above the water's surface, while extending an equal distance below, submerged in the depths of the lake. These would be equivalent to 55-story buildings in our time. These pyramids were crowned not with a simple geometric capstone like the ones at Giza, but with colossal statues depicting pharaohs or gods, their piercing gazes fixed upon passing fishermen drifting on the lake. Such a sight must have left countless ancient visitors breathless, just as it did for Herodotus. By now, as a viewer, you may find yourself contemplating a few intriguing questions. Why has the existence of these pyramids remained unknown to you until now? If they did indeed exist, why haven't they attained the same level of fame as their smaller counterparts? And why are there so few visual depictions of them, limited to just a couple of old drawings? The straightforward answer to all these queries lies in a single fact. They are missing. For centuries, historians and archaeologists have tirelessly searched for the elusive twin pyramids mentioned by Herodotus. Such fruitless quests are not uncommon when it comes to the accounts provided by Herodotus. The relentless march of time has erased numerous wonders that he vividly described, having witnessed them firsthand. These marvels have either completely vanished, leaving no trace, or transformed into unrecognizable mounds of rubble. You might find this mind-boggling. How could something as enormous as a pyramid could simply vanish without a trace? In order to unravel this mystery, we must journey back in time to the ancient world, specifically 2,000 years ago during the 5th century BCE, when we are introduced to a Greek individual known as Herodotus. He was an extensively well-traveled individual. By the time he reached the age of 60, he had traversed vast regions known to the ancient Greeks, from the grassy plains of Scythia in the north to the grand and opulent city of Babylon in the south. As he neared the end of his life, he embarked on the task of recording all the remarkable experiences and knowledge gained from his daring expeditions. This comprehensive narrative of his travels, titled The Histories, became a revolutionary work that redefined the essence of history itself, elevating it to a scholarly quest dedicated to unearthing the truths of human history. Herodotus is now celebrated as the esteemed father of history. Within the Histories, he meticulously documents the landscapes, individuals, and tales that he encountered during his voyages. In his book, it was evident that Herodotus held a deep fascination towards Egypt. He described it as a land boasting an astonishing array of marvels, surpassing any other place in the world in terms of its monumental structures. Many of the places and monuments he depicted still exist today, captivating modern-day sightseers just as they did over 2,000 years ago. In one of his travels, Herodotus ventured down the majestic Nile River, eventually reaching Lake Moeris. This immense freshwater lake, nourished by the Nile's waters, was adorned with a city that Herodotus referred to as Crocodilopolis, meaning the city of crocodiles. It derived its name from the fascinating and scaly creatures that inhabited the waters, regarded as sacred by the local inhabitants. The lake in itself was a wonder, for it was man-made, meticulously dug into the earth by the hands of countless Egyptian laborers under the command of a long-deceased pharaoh. In the heart of the lake lies the location of the colossal twin pyramids. The narrative of the lost pyramids of Lake Moeris was even utilized by certain scholars of ancient history to support the theory that the Great Pyramid of Giza served as a colossal water pump rather than a burial monument. If Herodotus's account is accurate, the presence of two of Egypt's largest pyramids within the confines of Egypt's largest lake should provide us with valuable insights regarding their intended function. Except, there's one problem. Archaeologists have faced the challenge of finding supporting evidence for the existence of these pyramids. Pyramids stand as some of humanity's most enduring architectural feats, thanks to their structural design. Their shape grants them greater resilience over time compared to other types of buildings. With this in mind, the question arises, where did these pyramids disappear to? Or did Herodotus provide inaccurate information about this? Herodotus, despite his influential work, was not without flaws. Over the span of 2,400 years since the completion of his renowned book, readers have unearthed inconsistencies and issues that raised doubts. Gradually, it became apparent that the Histories contained a plethora of errors and misinformation, prompting some critics to name him as the father of lies instead of the father of history. A striking illustration of these discrepancies can be found in Herodotus's depiction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. According to him, it stood at a towering height of 800 feet, whereas its true height is closer to 500 feet. This serves as a clear indication of how the Greek historian embellished the pyramid's dimensions for his narrative. Similarly, Herodotus's assertion that Lake Moeris was a man-made lake is proven incorrect. The ancient Egyptian pharaohs of the 12th dynasty carried out extensive waterworks to convert the lake into a vast reservoir, creating the illusion that the lake was a man-made excavation. These exaggerations and inaccuracies permeate the pages of the histories. However, we should not readily dismiss the contributions of Herodotus, who provided valuable insights into ancient times. One thing to consider is that his inaccuracies may not have been deliberate. Herodotus visited Egypt long after its prime, where many buildings and monuments were already 1,000 years old, dating back to the Bronze Age collapse. In essence, he was describing a post-apocalyptic landscape. Moreover, Herodotus openly acknowledged his inability to read Egyptian hieroglyphics, relying heavily on his local guides for information. When his guides provided specific details about monuments or pharaohs, he lacked the means to fact-check them. These might explain how he ended up with exaggerated estimations and erroneous information. Indeed, archaeologists have unearthed archaeological remnants of a magnificent monument on the shore of the dried-up lake. These are the pedestals of Biahmu, situated just a few miles north of the city of Fayum, formerly known as the City of Crocodiles. Although only the bases remain today, they once served as the thrones for two colossal statues crafted from quartzite stone. By piecing together fragments, we can infer that these statues likely portrayed two prominent pharaohs seated side by side. Archaeologists propose that they were erected during the reign of Amenemhat III, a renowned conquering pharaoh from Egypt's 12th dynasty. Scholars have theorized that each of the colossal statues, including the pedestals, originally stood at a height of approximately 59 to 60 feet, making them some of the tallest sculptures in Egypt since the Great Sphinx of Giza. In contrast, Herodotus claimed that his pyramids reached a towering height of around 600 feet, although he never saw their lower halves due to their submersion in water. From the matching descriptions and location, it appears that everything aligns except for the height. It is likely that Herodotus fell victim to yet another one of his exaggerated accounts. Either he had a poor sense of estimation, or his guides played a trick on him, leading to a height measurement that was 10 times the actual size. In their analysis of Herodotus, modern scholars Hall and Wells propose a theory to explain the Greek historian's significant error. Apparently, Herodotus only viewed the statues from a distant vantage point across the lake, accepting the greatly exaggerated figures provided by his guides. It is plausible that Herodotus never had the opportunity to verify these claims and unknowingly perpetuated a mystery that lasted for over 2,000 years. While the Biahmu colossi were undoubtedly impressive in their heyday, showcasing remarkable size and intricate carvings, Herodotus unjustly inflated our expectations. The drawings depicting giant pyramids are fanciful fan art based on nothing more than Herodotus's distorted account. Moreover, considering the impracticality of constructing pyramids in water, Egyptologists speculate that Herodotus described these statues during a period when the area was flooded. What happened to the massive statues? As recently as the 1240s AD, less than 700 years ago, an Islamic scholar reported having seen them. However, he later noted that the statues had been destroyed by locals who believed that hidden treasure lay within. According to one account, when European archaeologists visited the site in the 1800s, they discovered the pile that once represented the statues. In 1888, British archaeologist Flinders Petrie gathered a significant portion of these fragments and transported them back to England. The Ashmolean Museum in Oxford currently houses 47 of these pieces. Among them, you can find the oversized nose of one of the stone pharaohs hanging on the wall in the museum's Egyptian sculpture gallery. It is a small artifact that gives rise to a grand myth, illustrating how two pyramids can seemingly vanish without a trace. What are your thoughts about this? I hope you like our story. Until the next one.